Hello folks, and welcome to another episode of Technicational. Now today we're going to have the full review of the Huawei Y625. Yes, the full review of this phone. Now as usual, I usually get these phones and then a couple months after or a month after they go on sale. So it's good to know that we have this right here to review for you folks, so you can decide if you're going to buy it if it goes on sale in the future. So let's start. So the first thing we're going to talk about is build quality. I've been using this device for 2 weeks and I can't help but remember that phone. Yes, the phone that is called the Huawei Y360. You remember that phone? Yes. This reminds me of it because it just seems like Huawei multiplied the Y360 by 2 and they came up with this. So as soon as I start using this phone, I was quite familiar, and even doing the review, I feel like I'm doing back the same review over. You still have all your icons on the home screen. There's no app drawer. You have no backlight for the buttons down here, which are touch sensitive. You have a 2-megapixel camera at the front, same as the Y360. But what is different is the back camera is now upgraded to 8 megapixel. Yes, you still have flash to take pictures in the dark, and you still have all the buttons on one side. Everything just reminds me of the phone. I even remember a shortcut app that you double press the volume down button and it comes up and takes a picture. It still works, and it comes up with the same seconds that it takes to take the photo. So everything on this phone just feels so familiar. You still have your removable battery, you have your SIM card slot, and you still have your SD card slot. I'm telling you folks, this is the Y360 times 2. Well, you would equal to 6. Okay, you can do the math. So let's talk about display. Now, this is something that most people like to hear about because you're going to spend most of your time surfing the web and watching movies on this thing. Now, the display on this is okay. It's not fantastic, but it's okay. The reason why I just give it a okay is that it looks lovely in the night, but in the daylight, it's very hard to see what you're trying to navigate to or from on the screen. It has poor sunlight visibility. Very poor. Also, the resolution on this device is quite weird. It's not 720p. It's this weird number that I don't even know if to call that high definition. That figure, what is that figure? So let's move on to the features category. Now, this phone is standard, very basic, and you can't expect a lot from a budget phone. Now, you get certain apps built in which most people might appreciate, some might not. You'll have your WPS Office, and you'll have Twitter and Facebook coming on the phone without you installing it. Now, you have themes to change up the look of the device, which is pretty good, and you can customize them as well. But pretty much apart from a FM radio and a flashlight function, there is not a lot on the phone to say wow about. So you'll have to customize it, download apps that will just spruce up the phone, or you download some games, because there is none to talk of that comes on the device. Also, the standard features still work, which is the power down button, volume down button, and power button gives you a screenshot. Yep, that's volume down and power at the same time. Also, you can double press the volume down button at the lock screen to take a quick picture with the back camera. So we know it doesn't have much apps installed on it apart from the default apps. So let's dig a little deeper and see what the specs of this phone is like, if it's any better than the Y360. So to do this, you know, we have to go for our trusty application that is called CPU-Z. Yep, right here. And we'll actually see that this phone is a quad-core phone. So it has a quad-core processor that is running at 1.19 gigahertz. It also comes with 1 gig of RAM, which is double, again, what the 360 has. But the downside is the internal storage on this phone is 1.96 gigs, which is just cruelty. Really? You have phones that come with that amount of space? Memory is not expensive anymore, people. Please. A budget phone should not have less than 4 gigs of memory. So let's just jump right into benchmark because everything is just feeling so familiar. Hopefully the benchmark will give us a different reading than the Y360. So folks, the final score for the Huawei Y625 is 18,336. Let's see where that ranks this phone. Well, as usual, as a budget phone, it will be at the bottom of the list. So I don't remember exactly what the Y360 score was, so I'll try and put the comparison in the description below. But that is the full benchmark score for this phone. Although the benchmark scores were not that promising, you know, we still have to play a game on it and see how it functions in the real world. So let's try out, what do we have here? We have NITRO Nation. Yeah, let's see how that fares out. Okay, this looks nice. I might have to download this on my phone. Yay! Okay, enough of that. Now, most people like their phones to take good pictures, whether it's in the daylight or in the dark. Front camera, selfies, you name it, people will buy a phone for a good camera. Now, you don't have enough money, you want to make sure that your budget phone can take good pictures. So, you judge for yourself. For me, it takes pretty decent photos. My problem is the darn camera is kind of slow to get used to. It takes photos pretty slow. So if you're going to actually try to get something in action, you will end up either missing the moment or the picture will come out blurry. But as far as picture quality goes, here are some samples for the day and the night, and you can judge. The video quality for the phone is 720p. It doesn't record in 1080p. And that's not a bad thing because most people don't want a 1080p file on their phone anyway because it just takes up a lot of space. And 720p on a display this small, watching a video that is 720p is not that bad. So the last thing we're going to talk about is battery life. And the Y625 is not that bad in this category. I usually get 2.5 days of use out of it. Now remember people, I am not the type of person who use my phone a lot, but I get 2.5 days. For somebody who is like really using the phone, I'm expecting you'll get like a day and a half. But it is quite good in the battery department, especially if you enable the battery saving features that are built into the phone. So, what are my final thoughts on the Huawei Y625 or aka Y360 times 2? Well, the good thing is that the price isn't multiplied by 2, which is a good thing. So everything else is little bumped up from the 360. You have a bigger display, you have 1 gig of RAM instead of 512. You still have a limited amount of storage space, but you can work around it if you know the apps and what you're going to download, and make sure you get a memory card that suits your needs. But is it worth the upgrade? I'm going to be honest with you folks, if you have a Y360, I wouldn't jump to this. No, it's not really a big upgrade, but for the $12,000 price tag that it has, if you haven't bought a Y360 yet, you should invest in the Y625. You get a better spec phone for just a little more money. So that is my final thoughts on the Y625. I really hope that Huawei does something about the built-in storage in the future budget phones that they're going to do, because their phones are good. It's just that the internal space is ridiculous. Anyhow folks, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for subscribing as well. If you haven't subscribed as yet, please do. It helps me a lot to do and bring these devices and reviews to you so you know what you can look for and buy. Thank you guys, and again, peace.